for a few minutes to introduce you to Corozal Belize Ministries. It's a mission that I've been involved with for several years now. We operate in the Corozal district of Belize. Belize is a very small country. It's smaller than the state of Pennsylvania. And the Corozal district is one of 6. It borders the southern border of Mexico, so it's very far north. It is far removed from the beach resorts of the Barrier Islands on the southeast, or from the just beautiful mountains and jungles in the southwest next to Guatemala. The main industry in the Corozal district is sugarcane. All the fields are owned by multinational corporations, and they pay the men to come in and harvest, but only for 4 to 6 months a year. They pay outrageously low wages. There is no minimum wage in Belize. There's nothing in Belize. There's no health insurance or welfare or anything at all. So these men are doing back-breaking, dangerous work for almost no pay at all. So their future is bleak. And my brother started Corozal Belize Ministries about 20 years ago when he was down with a work group out of a community church outside of Cincinnati. And he learned that the Corozal government, or the Belizean government, mandates free education for their students, but only until the 6th grade. So you've got 13 and 14-year-old boys and girls out on the streets because their families cannot afford to send them to junior high or high school, with very little in the way of future. The boys end up in the cane fields with the same cycle of poverty that their parents and grandparents had. The girls, I leave it to your imagination to where they end up. It's not a very pretty picture. So the lack of education is a real hindrance to changing the culture and the poverty levels in Corozal. So Phil learned that maybe there was a way to help this out. And by 2009, he had discovered a way to send money down, found a person to sort of select students, and he paid for, or the Corozal CBM paid for, I think it was 17 students to go to high school that year. It has grown since then. So this past year, we paid for 165 students to go to high school who otherwise would be out on the streets. We've expanded into other things. Just in addition to that is we've seen our 1,000th student graduate from high school. So these are kids that can go on to have jobs in clerks in stores. We've seen them come back and give graduation ceremonies, in fact, speeches, because they're in the military or the police. They have a future because of their education. They can read and write, which is something that not everyone can do. We've seen over 2,000 scholarships awarded, but we've expanded into that. And here's the list of the 3 aspects of our ministry. Besides the scholarships, we've gotten involved in the elementary schools. There are 38 church-related private elementary schools throughout the Corozal district, and we interact with a little over 20 of them. And we do a couple of things. When we have work groups go down, we actually interact with the teachers and the students. They are more than happy to give us 3 or 4 days of their time in classroom to interact. We do vacation Bible school or Summer's Best 2-week-like activities, song and dance and Bible stories. We played sports with these kids. We've taken down scores and scores of soccer balls, and we go out and play with them. We've erected volleyball nets and send down volleyballs. This past March, we erected 5 playgrounds. These schools have nothing in their yards. It's broken up concrete and grass and stray dogs running around. There's no playground equipment or basketball hoops or things like that. So the interaction is really important, but not for the Belizean student. It's for our kids that go down and the people that interact with the students, because it's just a life-changing experience. But we also do work on the infrastructure. These are schools that were built back in the 1940s and 50s by the United Nations. They haven't been touched since then. They need painting. We were scraping walls one day, and there were these brown streaks of, we didn't know what it was, going up everywhere, hundreds and hundreds of them on each wall. And we're scraping and scraping, getting ready to paint, and finally found out that they were cockroach dung as they climbed the road. So that's the state of the schools. The foundations are crumbling, the walls are crumbling. They need painted. The walls and the doors and windows haven't been touched in now 75 years. So they're either frozen shut and don't let the wind in or out or any cooling in the summertime, or they're frozen open and they let the wind and the rain during the storms to come in and soak the students. There's bats in the roofs leak. They're just in deplorable situations. So where we can, when we have the funds, when we have the people, when we have the skills, and by skills I mean someone to show me which end of the hammer to hold, that we actually paint and we replace the windows, replace the doors, we do some cement work, we do a lot of work on the infrastructure. There's a lot of work that to be done. And now we've moved out into the communities as well. We have a community liaison person. I'm going to have you meet him in a minute. And there's a food bank run by another organization out of Ohio, but we get down and help with it. We distribute food. And I'll tell you, that's a life-changing activity to go out and put a bag of food together and personal items and toiletries and go out into these homes that are nothing more than saplings tied together with a thatched roof and a mud floor and hand these packages out. And yeah, the people are glad to get them, but the effect that it has on the people that we take down there is just life-changing. We go into individual family homes. This past year, we built a bathroom for a disabled girl that had to be carried across 2 fields to go to an outhouse of a neighbor. Next slide, please. And I want you to meet Rosie Perez. You can't see it very well, but on the right-hand frame is Rosie in a blue shirt with my sister-in-law, Linda, and the fellow there is Raphael Cobb. Rafi has an amazing testimony I'll share with you some other time. But he is our community liaison. For some reason, he knows everybody everywhere, and he's the one that selects projects for us. So Rosie, 3 or 4 years ago, was a 34-year-old single mom with 5 kids, the oldest of which was a 17-year-old girl. Do the math. She had thrown out her abusive husband, and she lived in the house on the left. But at that time, those concrete blocks only went up about this high. The rest of the house was open. The thatched roof leaked, mud floor. There were no doors or windows. And CBM was able to pay for someone to come in and complete the concrete blocks, replace the thatch roof with a metal roof that you can see. We put in doors and windows. The next year, we were able to go in and build a couple of interior walls so that Rosie and her oldest daughter had a little bit of privacy. And then the Mission Committee of Covenant Church last year donated enough money that we bought a bed frame and a mattress and sheets and pillows and pillowcases. We bought a white kitchen table and 4 plastic chairs and a dresser that she could put some clothes in and get it off the mud floor. So your generosity has changed this family's life. The middle frame just shows you her uncle's house, which is pretty typical, just saplings lashed together. It leaks. You can see that we were there after a rain, and the floor is just nothing but mud. There's no kitchen. There's a small charcoal fire outside the hut, and oftentimes no furniture, no running water, really deplorable conditions. Next slide. And none of that is why I'm here today. I'm not here to ask for money. I'm not here to ask for volunteers to go on a work trip, not that we would turn either of those things down. But when you go into these elementary schools, it strikes you that there are no books. And by no, I don't mean a few, I mean no books. Teachers don't have books to teach out of, and the kids certainly don't have books that they can read for leisure and learn to read and find things that are interesting, maybe spark an interest in them. It just doesn't happen. Many of you know that Jerry was a reading specialist and teacher. We had hundreds and hundreds of children's books in our house. Her classroom had thousands of books. You don't go into an elementary school around here that you don't see shelves and shelves and shelves of children's books. I'm telling you, in these schools, there are 0 books. In the homes, not even a hope of getting a book. So we got some funding from a family out of, I think they live in Ohio, that will allow us to build 5 libraries in 5 elementary schools. Our goal is to go all 38, but you got to start somewhere. So they're beginning to fix a room up. The schools have given us a room. When we get down in February, next June, we will paint, we'll fix them up, we'll replace the windows and doors, build some shelving and seats, but we need books. We're estimating, just to get started, 1,000 books per school. So that's 5,000 books right off the bat. We've already sent, yesterday I sent off about 60 boxes of books, probably 1,500 books or so, to be shipped down to Corozal, and we sent another couple thousand my brother had done. But we need children's books. Good condition, elementary level, reading level. Michelle has been very gracious to coordinate collection here at the church, so if you want to bring them to the church, we'll organize them and get them boxed up and shipped. But I'm more than happy to come to your house and pick them up as well.